Hey guys, this is Martin Updike with I-40 Race Service in Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. Here on my driveway, just doing a quick couple-minute video showing you how easy it is to set up the Bibs RFID system. This is for my friends Matt and David, who will be doing a race for me in a couple weeks without me there. So this is some instructions for them, but also just a quick tutorial on the Bibs RFID setup. So first thing I want to show you is the actual Bibs unit. And bear with me for a second here. There it is right here. So I've got it opened up here. It's just in this nice black case, about less than a foot by a foot and a half on the dimensions. And inside you've got just a few basic components, but they all come together really well to give you a great RFID reader and equipment. So this right here is what used to power on the unit. There's an on-off switch right here. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it off just to show you. Matt and David, take note here. Just flip that on switch. And this battery is a little bit bigger than I have another unit, and it's a much smaller battery. This is about like a 5 or 6 hour battery life. The ones on the smaller units are about a 2 to 3 hour battery life. So there we go. I turn it on. My CPU unit here is firing. So that's basically putting out my local area network signal that I hook my computer into. You can also hook tablets into it, anything that can connect to the local area network that it's putting out. And then real quick down low here, I've got a Speedway Impinj 4-port reader. And there's also a separate power box on top of that that's being used to convert power for the CPU and for the reader. So that's real quick, my real basic analysis of what we got here in the bolt box. And just to close it up, all you do is shut it, and then it's got, I can't do it with one hand, but it's got these knobs. You just close it up and it's ready to go. So now I'm going to switch back to the driveway here. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hook up my 4 antennas that I use at races. I use 2 on each side of the finish line. You can really just get away with 1 on each side, but it's kind of for backup purposes. I've got a 4-port reader, I might as well use 4 antennas. So I usually just set up on one side here. And I'm just going to start screwing in my antenna cables into each of the ports. So you've got a 4-port reader, so you can do any combination of up to, you can just use 1 antenna if you want, but as I said, if you've got 4 ports, these antennas are relatively inexpensive, so you might as well use as much as you can just for backup purposes. I really am a big fan of the side antennas. You get a really strong read with them, sometimes too strong almost, so that almost can be a negative sometimes, but it works really well. One thing I'll tell you too is I used to worry a lot about the angle of the antennas. Like right now I've got them at a 45-degree angle. Runners are coming this way, crossing the finish line. After doing it several different ways, I've determined it really doesn't matter. You can do it at a 90-degree angle, like going straight out that way, where you have them on each side of the finish line facing in. You can angle it more like this, almost where it's coming straight out. The reason it doesn't really matter is because the body really blocks. So they've got their bib on their chest. The body really blocks the read as they cross the finish line. So if it doesn't really matter what angle, it's going to get about the same time, no matter how you got it angled. But a 45-degree angle is probably the best to go with, or maybe even a 30-degree angle, a little bit more like that, or I guess that'd be a little bit more like a 60-degree angle. But as I said, don't waste your time too much worrying about that, because as I said, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter that much. So I've got my 2 antennas hooked up over here. I'm just going to go over to my other side. I've already screwed these in over here. Just going to lay them across. Hook them up to my other 2 ports here. you do want to get these screwed in pretty nice and tight. It really makes a difference. If it's a little bit loose, you don't want to over tighten it, but if they're a little bit loose, it doesn't quite get the reads that you want. So you really kind of want to just kind of firm every turn up, if that makes sense. I mean, to the end. You don't want to over tighten it, but you also don't want to leave any connections loose. So now I've got these cables to deal with. And the best thing I've come up with to cover your cables are these commercial style mats like you have outside of a restaurant or a business. They're about 60 bucks a piece or so, but they're so heavy that you can just throw them right on top of the cables. You know, you can kind of organize them a bit, but they work so well, much better than like a little ground cover or something. Because the problem with those is they slide around on you. When a runner hits them wrong, they can move. But these, they're never going to move. So they're just kind of a heavy black mats. And I've got this finish line set up about 8 feet wide or so. Yeah, maybe 9 feet. I've gone up to 12 feet, gone down to 6. I really get good results either way. So that's it. That's the Bibs RFID system setup. Once again, this has been Martin Updike with I-40 Race Service.